Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody, what is going on? It's your boy Crypto Bobby. Hope you are having a great day, great night wherever you are watching or listening in from. Happy Friday to everybody, I guess, depending upon where you're at. Hopefully it's happy hour, close to that for you. It doesn't look like the viewer count today is working at all, so I'll figure that one out. But happy to be hanging out with you guys and taking a little bit of time to chill on this Friday afternoon. That right now, actually, the market, surprisingly, where I'm at right now, hasn't fallen off a cliff once I started streaming, so that's pretty cool. And actually have a new little bit of a setup here with the Carlos Matos introduction and also kind of a couple other things that I'll be working in. Got a new camera, got new lighting, and some other cool things as well. But today, so far, what am I drinking? I've been on a black lager kick recently, so we got Winter Landscape Black Lager. I can't think. Industrial Arts Brewing Company from Garnerville, New York. No idea where the hell Garnerville, New York is, but I'm gonna drink it anyway. But we'll pop over here, and I'll fix this viewer count because that ain't working. But what's going on, everybody? Taking a look at the chat here as well. We got some folks on Twitch. So good to see you guys, and got some folks on Periscope as well, which is pretty cool. And yeah, Carlos Matos coming to you straight from New York City. A couple different things going on today. So we have some news that happened with the Ethereum developers. We also have Quadriga CX, which was a Canadian exchange that owes customers about $190 million. The founder of the company actually passed away, but apparently there was no kind of succession plan for his passing, and the $190 million, whatever it might be, is all on his laptop, and his wife and none of the employees have any idea how to get to his laptop, or how to access the crypto from his laptop. So terrible planning there. Does not sound super great there, but some jokes flying around on Twitter that, including myself, maybe a little bit insensitive to anybody that lost money, but effectively a supply burn for a lot of these cryptocurrencies, reducing the supply across the board for a lot of them. So yeah, we can definitely talk a little bit more about that, and obviously answer all of your questions as well. Hold on, let me get the first sip in. Shooter Crypto McGavin, yeah. Kristaps Porzingis. I'm not really a Knicks fan. I don't care too much for basketball, or just don't really care too much about basketball. I have very much empathy for Knicks fans, because as a Jets fan, there is no fun or enjoyment about that whatsoever. And usually there's a good amount of times when Jets fans or Knicks fans, that's just double the pain, double the trouble, just double the awfulness. So that's definitely something to that really hurts quite a bit. And just a quick shout out to anybody who's watching now. Worked on this little tool with a bunch of people, a few people at AirSwap over the past like month and a half. But if you haven't tried it yet, it's dexindex.io. We just built this open source tool. Anybody can use it. You can go to the GitHub link and check it out and deploy it if you want to use it for a trading bot or add it to your own website, whatever you want to do. If you want to run a command line, but just a way to go in, and if you want to like see the price of what WBTC is trading at, what decentralized exchange is trading at, or if you want to see, the best way to the best price for 150 DAI, whatever it might be, you can do that through the tool. It's pretty sweet. Shows you the price differential. So that was pretty cool reception to it. Appreciate a lot of you guys for supporting on that, whether it was GitHub or whether it's Product Hunt or just kind of across the board. It was one of the first like from scratch products I've gotten a chance to work on, and it's open source and it's just for everybody to use. So that's cool, and there's no authentication through MetaMask or Ethereum or anything like that. So it's a pretty fun project to work on in general. Yeah, so taking a look at some of these questions here, and this is something Quadriga, and then we can even go to this. So CoinDesk published this smart contract. This is Hosho, which is a company. I think this does go to show really kind of captures succinctly and straight shooter said Canada. CoinSquare, which I think is a competitor to Quadriga, laid off about a third of its staff as well. But smart contract auditor Hosho, which was one of the, I think, more popular just kind of independent smart contract auditing firms, ended up laying off a significant number of their staff. They're based out of Vegas, and they started, they were just kind of blew up, especially during the ICO boom, like a lot of companies did, and had to pull back pretty significantly because of the number of, really the funding for ICOs dried up. Therefore, a lot of their business dried up, and they've had to move into kind of different ways, as well as they had they scheduled a pretty big high profile conference, and that did not pan out like they had thought it would. But I do think that the kind of struggles with this specifically does go to represent what a lot of the, not only crypto projects do, but the service providers in the space as well, whether that's exchanges or smart contract auditing firms or crypto projects, whatever it might be. Definitely something that I think a lot of people across the board have felt, and has been pretty interesting to watch that pan out as a whole. When is the Kick IPO? Get in now. Kick already did an ICO. I don't think they're going to do an IPO anytime soon. XRP is the official cryptocurrency of the 2020 Olympics. How do you not see what's happening? It's ignorant. XRP isn't going to be the fucking cryptocurrency of the 2020 Olympics, you crazy person. Just because there's a change.org petition does not mean that's actually going to happen. Are you ignorant? God, I love crypto. Oh, you said currency. Yes. Oh, yeah. It's actually, it's not going to be the official cryptocurrency. It's actually going to be the official currency of the Olympics. Again, because of a change. Let's go over there. Yeah, let's take a look. Change.org. XRP official crypto. Actually, let's do, like you said, currency of the Olympics. Oh, the petition's closed. Shucks, I was gonna sign it. Golly jeepers, I really missed out on signing this bad boy. Let's look about this one. Make XRP the official cryptocurrency of the Tokyo Olympics 2020. The countdown to Tokyo Olympics 2020 has begun. Those are facts. Those are big facts. Big facts. While this global event presents great cultural and economic opportunities, hosting countries may also face challenges concerning infrastructure, transportation, and payment systems. That's why we need to turn to XRP, the standard. Let's go. Yeah, I should have signed this. I'm really disappointed, man. Well, that's funny. Shout out to you guys for that. Yeah, and somebody also talked about NEM. This is interesting. I mean, I didn't get a chance to talk about this on the channel, but this just kind of goes to show the repeated, I think the trend across the board. I mean, we first saw it with Steemit, I think was one of the big ones. And then you've seen it with, like we talked about, Hosho, which came out and talked about their struggles. And I've actually met the CEO, nice dude. CoinSquare laid off a third of their employees, and we'll get to the Casa Lightning node. I haven't downloaded the browser extension yet, but that looks pretty awesome. I'm excited to utilize that. I still have my Casa node running, so that's pretty cool. And then getting into it, we had NEM, which was a story that, if we get down here, we have NEM, which was the story that broke. I believe CoinDesk broke it, and this was also pretty crazy. But the NEM Foundation is nearly broke. Plans for layoffs and pivots. And shout out to, I don't know where the quote was. Where was it? Box Mining tweeted out something that was really funny, where NEM said, "We're not firing anybody, we're just laying people off." It's like, there's a difference. Is there a difference? I don't know, folks. But yeah, so the NEM Foundation is it's a foundation for NEM. And they shockingly still have a pretty massive valuation. Really, the only memory that I have of NEM was, number one, it was a top 10 cryptocurrency at one point in time, and it's still, I believe, top 25. We pop over to CoinMarketCap. NEM is, where is NEM? It is the 18th largest cryptocurrency. It is a $370 million market capitalization, 18 million volume. There was, I guess, two things that are notable. They had the CoinCheck hack, which was about $500 million in NEM that was stolen. At the time, I believe it was $500 million in NEM that was stolen. The entire market capitalization of NEM right now is less than the amount that was stolen on CoinCheck, if I recall. And then in addition to that, there was a guy, let's see if we can find it here. NEM consensus protester. This is all I remember about NEM was this dude outside of, if you can see here, this was at Consensus, and this poor dude was literally sleeping outside of Consensus, which was in the close to Times Square. I think it was at the Hilton Times Square, just the worst part of Manhattan, like just the middle of the shit. And this dude was sleeping outside of the of Consensus when Arthur Hayes is driving up in a Lambo, and this guy is sitting out there with a freaking paper sign saying NEM devs owe me 4.5 mil and won't pay. Now that 4.5 mil is probably worth about 27 cents at this point in time. So even if he did get refunded, it's I don't think it's going in many places, but that's like literally the first thing, because I walked past him like 3 separate times. I was like, this poor son of a bitch. So taking a look at some of these questions here. I almost bought that shit last year. Nope. So thoughts on the ETF being refiled? And shout out to anybody who's on Twitch and YouTube who's subscribing. I appreciate that, Omer. Pretty cool to see some folks on Twitch have never kind of used it or played around with it. So if you're on Twitch, hit that subscribe button. That'd be pretty sweet as well. But should be live right now from Twitch, Periscope, and YouTube. Got a new software that gets me out to all three of those. So that's pretty cool instead of just doing YouTube. So wherever you like hanging out, hopefully I'll be there at some point in time. And yeah, so the last time we had crypto happy hour, crypto coffee hour, actually it was, the CBOE had just pulled back their Bitcoin ETF proposal. And just when they pull you out and you think, you know what, maybe we're not going to talk about the ETF for a minute or two, they pull you back in 24 seconds later. And Here we are. So the VanEck SolidX ETF proposal, after it was pulled back, it was then resubmitted, refiled on January 30th. So that does quite a bit in terms of extending the final decision date, which was originally supposed to be February 27th. Now I think somebody had mentioned that I believe it's 9 months, if I want to say. So yeah, I don't know how many 240 days is because I'm stupid. But the SEC will have a maximum of 240 days to decide whether to approve or reject the proposal. And that goes in certain stages. If you guys remember, I think there was a time back in August and maybe a few months prior to that. There's a lot of hubbub around the ETF, and every time it gets pushed back. So expect that to happen and continue to draw out at this point in time. What up, dumb? I need the dumb green screen. That's freaking that's the move, man. There's nobody who has better video editing than dumb. That's an absolute fact. So shout out to dumb. So we talked about it in the past, but Tron and Binance, again, I think this is kind of a weird marriage of sorts. You have Tron and you have Binance, which is really, by all accounts, the most successful company in the cryptocurrency space, or at least between Binance and BitMEX, really the two most successful companies by volume, probably by fees, by profit, and really Binance coming out of nowhere in mid-2017 to kick everybody's freaking ass. And Tron, which had, I would say, relatively, I don't want to say sketchy beginnings, but Tron is definitely not without criticism by a lot of people, myself included. I am personally not like the biggest fan of Tron. I've said that before. I'll say it again. But as far as investing or buying BitTorrent, the BTT token, and especially with these airdrops and things like that, I've talked about it before, where I think that there's going to be crazy trade opportunities with these BitTorrent airdrops, because even if it's a very small amount, and shout out to Box Mining again, he did a pretty funny video where he talked about, I think the amount that is airdropped of BitTorrent to, I think, certain Tron holders was 50 cents. So he went through the things you could actually buy with 50 cents, and it was like a ring pop and some other bullshit. But he went through all of that, and it's tough though. Like when you look at it, I am, again, not a fan of Tron, not a fan of TRX. But when you look about how Binance and Tron are partnered up and how easily, in a lot of respects, like the cryptocurrency market can be either number one, manipulated, or number two, just like, when you kind of hitch your wagon to Binance, that is a pretty big deal, and things can pump pretty damn easily. So yeah, I wouldn't, at this point in time, up until we see February 10th or so, I think there could be an epic short opportunity on TRX. But right now, I'm not really gonna touch that at this point in time. I do know if you it was a nice little drop, but yeah, I'm waiting for a little bit more time until we get to this. I believe the BitTorrent airdrop to Tron holders on Binance and a few other places is actually on February 11th. So on the 10th, there's, looking at the way things have shaken out with like a Z Classic Bitcoin private airdrop and things like that, where it runs up really heavily into that airdrop snapshot. And then as soon as the snapshot happens, sometimes even a little bit beforehand, people ride the gains up and actually don't give half a shit about getting the coins that are going into the airdrop. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on shorting Tron in that February 10th, February 11th timeframe. Rodrigo owes me $1.90. Well, sorry about that. What up, J-Brims? What's going on? Crypto Stefan, I'll have to take a look at that. I saw the Singular DTV rebranding to Breaker. Don't have a ton of don't have a ton of thoughts on that at this point in time. When Quadriga reimbursement? Well, if the CEO is dead and nobody can get to the funds, I don't know how that's going to happen, to be very, very honest with you. Jabrims, I should be on YouTube right now as well. Hopefully I'm on YouTube. I should 100% be. Yeah, it looks like I'm on YouTube, so we're good to go. I'm on YouTube, like I said before, Twitch and Periscope. So wait a second, Bobby, how are you going to short here in the US? I don't live in New York. I have friends that I'm going to borrow from and pay them interest, obviously. Dustin, don't be a narc, bro. The Casa node. So first of all, again, I haven't gotten a chance to download the new Lightning enabled Bitcoin node, or the browser extension for the Casa. But they did two cool things recently. Number one, they open sourced their code. So there was I think Casa, just generally speaking, had a lot of goodwill in the community, but they had mostly closed sourced code. And I think a lot of people criticized that and said, how can we trust this? This is an open source. For the most part, the people that are in charge at Casa have a good deal of credibility, but that was still something that a lot of people criticized. So number one, they open sourced, I think, really the entire code base that runs the Casa node, so that you could basically buy the same hardware and run it, and handle it yourself, which is cool. And then they also created a browser extension for their Lightning nodes that you can interact with a number of different websites, which is pretty cool. I do think the Casa node, you can, don't get me wrong, you can absolutely, especially now that they open source the code, it's basically a Raspberry Pi, a hard drive, and some other kind of small things, and you're going to pay a premium for it. It's not cheaper than it's not cheaper than anything really. If you know how to kind of create the node yourself, if you know how to spin up a node, shout out to Pierre Rochard, who has a really good guide to spinning up your own Lightning node as well, and your own Bitcoin full node. But if you know how to do that stuff on your own, if you're fairly technically savvy, you can save a bunch of money by not doing it. I think that the Casa node costs $300, and there's a fair amount of margin there. But on the other end of the spectrum, if you just want something that's super easy plug and play, the Casa node, at least in my opinion, is worth it. And it's not like the Casa team is selling 50,000 of these things and making a shit ton of money. The people that complain about them making $100 from the margin, if you do 100, they've sold whatever 500 units and they make $100 on margin, that doesn't pay one person's freaking salary. It's not that big of a deal. People just like to get worked up over stupid shit. So Binance accepting credit cards now, USD pair soon, let the onboarding begin, RIP Coinbase. I'm gonna disagree with that. I don't think that Binance, I don't think that it's any, first of all, accepting credit cards is cool. I saw people online that were literally like, this is going to start the bull run. No, it's not. It's 100% not going to start a bull run. I don't think at all. I don't think at all is it going to start a bull run. And that's just my kind of opinion on that. But I also don't think it's going to be easier for people to get money into into Binance. I don't think it directly competes with Coinbase, and I don't know if Binance has the interest in directly competing with Coinbase. The amount of assets that they have listed on their platform, and going to try to get regulatory approval for that within the United States, you have to do that really at a state-by-state basis, and that takes a long time. If you guys remember Robinhood, Robinhood announced that they were going to go into crypto, and I literally talked to one of the lead product managers at Robinhood And he was like, hey, we have to start off with 5 states because it's really hard to get all the regulation and get all the licensing. We're going to slowly expand. Like, is anybody using Robinhood right now? I don't know. Sound off in the comments if you are using Robinhood. I'm happy to chat, or happy to hear about that. But, when Robinhood came out, everybody was like, RIP in peace, Coinbase. Coinbase is dead. Coinbase is dead. I think Coinbase is harder to kill than a lot of people think it is. Looking at what's up, Mike A. Appreciate the super chat, dude. 311. What's up? If you guys absolutely, if you have a question you absolutely must have answered, throw it in the super chat, and I definitely will get to that. But Mike A, what are your thoughts on Bitcoin Hex? So I haven't looked into it a ton. I'm going to say that, I haven't looked into it a ton, but any Carpe Noctem on Twitter. Where's my guy? 33K in July Moku. See, hold on, let me pull it up for you. One second. He tweeted this the other day, which I thought was pretty good. See if we can pull it up. He's got too many tweets. Come on, Carpe. So he basically said this: any fork using the name Bitcoin in its own name is 100% a scam, no exceptions. And it's slightly hard to argue that when you look at the number of cryptocurrencies that are called Bitcoin. Bitcoin XT, Bitcoin Fast, Bitcoin Classic, Bitcoin Unlimited, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Cash, Segwit 2X, Bitcoin God, Bitcoin File, Lightning Bitcoin. I don't think that's actually the same thing. Bitcoin Incognito, Bitcoin Green, Bitcoin Private. Shout out Rhett Cretan. Yeah, I mean, so the likelihood that Bitcoin Hex is going to, defy the odds of having success out of any of these. I mean, none of these have had success against Bitcoin, really. Bitcoin Cash for a small time, had its day in the sun, but has since fallen off a cliff. So I think that's actually a pretty damn accurate statement. I don't know if it's 100% a quote-unquote scam, but it's definitely using the Bitcoin name to gather marketing, and it probably is not going to be as good of an asset or hold its value anywhere close to as well as Bitcoin will. So that's my just overall thought process on that. They're all shitcoins which will amount to nothing. There's no crypto withdrawal for Robinhood, just trading. Yep. Thank you very much, Conscious Vegan. I'm working, very hard on growing out this beard. I'm just hitting puberty now, so at this point in time, takes me a little bit longer than the average person, but I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. So a couple different questions about Wrap Bitcoin and people's thoughts on that as well. So this is something, if you go to right now, I think DexWatch probably has the... DexWatch is a cool website, by the way. If you guys are interested in like the Ethereum decentralized exchanges, DexWatch is pretty cool. But we'll go over to tokens and we'll check that out. And you can see we have it. So Wrapped Bitcoin, there's not a ton of volume yet. You got really 3 exchanges, or 3 decentralized exchanges that are servicing it. You have Kyber, IDEX, and AirSwap. There's really like 15 traders in total, so not a ton. You got, what is it, 184 ETH worth of volume, so you got 20k of volume. Not a ton off the bat, but one of the things that I think is going to potentially be what will start, what will help start some liquidity is if certain things like compound finance start to allow for Wrap Bitcoin to have a market, and people can start lending and borrowing or WBTC. If MakerDAO, which is what we've talked about in the past, and I still owe you guys a video on MakerDAO, but if MakerDAO allowed, like if we go over here and we go to the CDP, portal, right now within MakerDAO, you can only click open a CDP. You can only collateralize you can only collateralize your your collateralized debt position with Ethereum. However, if you could, I think there's a lot of people that might be interested in getting a loan of DAI, or really getting a loan of DAI, but trust Bitcoin more than they trust Ethereum to actually be that collateralization point and be the actual piece of debt that is collateralized there. So if you have WBTC within that, I think that'll be a start for change within and start to help grow the WBTC ecosystem. But unless it's just kind of trading against the dexes, we'll have to see. Also, I think, whether it's AirSwap or Kyber or IDEX, they might start to open up WBTC pairs. So, rather than just having, I think right now for the most part, it's WBTC versus ETH, but WBTC DAI and a couple other things that might be pretty cool. So taking a look at some more of these questions here too. Robinhood is okay. I use it. Doesn't hold your keys. That's cool to hear. If anybody else uses Robinhood, I've used Robinhood for stocks, but never for crypto. So that's yeah. I just haven't used it for crypto at this point in time. I've never had any issues with Coinbase. I know a lot of people have issues with Coinbase and don't like it, but yeah. Crypto Stefan, thoughts of Maker having over 90% of WETH and almost 2% of ETH issues supplied locked up. I think it starts to show the actual use case for Ethereum, and we talked about it in the last episode, but the ability, I mean, if you look at it right now here too, and this is, I'll do an entire video on it, but at a very high level, I only have 0.5 ETH in this account, so I only have $50. But if I wanted to, within this 0.5 ETH. So if I put up 0.5 ETH as collateral, I can actually get right now a 35, let's see. I can actually get 35 DAI back immediately. However, what happens with this is the liquidation price is really, really tight. So if you look at a very high level, what does generating a collateralized debt position within Ethereum or within MakerDAO do? You put up ETH as collateral. That collateral gets held in a smart contract, and it generates DAI for you. However, you have to collateralize the ratio at 150%. The tighter you are to 150%, the more likely you are to get liquidated, and that means you lose the Ethereum that you collateralize. However, if you over-collateralize that position, your liquidation price is very low, meaning you have a very low chance of getting liquidated, and because of that, there's a low chance that you'll actually lose the amount of ETH or really your principal that you put up. So if I were to collateralize, if you see here, if I take the entirety of the 0.5 ETH, and rather than doing the maximum DAI that I'm able to generate, that 35, if I were to just generate 5 DAI, I'm collateralized over 1,000%, meaning that I wouldn't get liquidated unless ETH went to $15. The likelihood of ETH going to $15, I guess fairly low. And if so, I could always put it in, I could always put more in, but even if ETH goes to $15, I got 5 DAI and I collateralized 0.5 ETH. So it's not that big of a deal, but you can always add more Ethereum at that point in time as well. You can collateralize on a continuing basis. But one of the reasons that this is interesting too, a lot of people have asked, like, why is this cool? Why is this not cool? One of the reasons, if you wanted to, is like, let's say you thought ETH, and this is just Ethereum right now, but I believe Maker is planning on doing other assets and doing multi-collateralized depositions or multi-asset collateralized depositions where it's not just going to be Ether, because I know a lot of people aren't big Ethereum fans. But when it comes down to, like, let's say you are an Ether fan and you think, all right, shit, you look here, price of Ethereum is $106 right now, but I think that it's super oversold and it's going to go up to $200. Well, what would happen there? Well, I could put up my ETH as collateral, meaning that I get this back once I pay the loan off. And if I want to, at this point in time, if I want to take out $25, I don't get liquidated until it goes to 75 bucks. But if I think that ETH is going to go to $200, I can take this 25 DAI that gets generated, and I can take that 25 DAI and I can go buy ETH with it. And then when ETH goes up to when ETH goes up to $200, now my DAI, now the price of my ETH and DAI basically doubled. And I can pay back the loan. I can pay back that 25 DAI, and then I still have 25 DAI left over. So it's basically a way to go almost leverage long on Ethereum at this point in time, or take the DAI and buy anything else you want with it. At this point in time, hey, maybe in the future you want to put up ETH as collateral, but you want to buy Bitcoin with it. You could actually take your DAI and buy Bitcoin. Or take your DAI and buy WBTC, or you could take your DAI and change that to ETH, which then you change to BTC. But you can do a lot of cool things with it. It's a pretty interesting way to approach leverage in general. Stealth 9842, what's up, brother? Appreciate that super chat very much. Thank you. I've been hearing good things about Cardano's Uri wallet and Shelly release in Q1. I haven't kept up as much with Cardano recently, if I'm being super honest. I know Cardano released an IOHK input output Hong Kong, I believe, released an Ethereum client, and it was actually, I think, very well received by a lot of people, which is pretty cool because there's a good amount of people that really hate on, at least in the like hardcore Ethereum community, that hate on Charles Hoskinson now because he talks a lot of shit about Ethereum. But they put out some good work that I think was well received. But I haven't gotten a chance to look at the new Cardano wallet and the Shelly release at this point in time, so I'll have to dive into that a little bit further. Stealth, appreciate that. Organic FUD, I'm concerned about you. Add some XRP to your diet. If it helps my beard grow faster, maybe I'll add some XRP to my diet. Just kidding. My standards, my principles, however dumb they may be, preclude me from adding XRP to my diet. But with that, $5, I might buy myself another beer because this is severely overpriced in New York. So I do appreciate it, Organic FUD. I'll pop over to, let's see what's happening too. Taking a look at some of the chats here as well. Pretty shocked that the market isn't dumping when I've been on. It's a pretty big shock because the market always dumps when I'm live. Robinhood is a troll box for every coin. Bitcoin Cash Satoshi's Vision coin is hilarious. That is, I actually might join it just for the troll box. Good question, Frederick. Will WBTC also be used in other lending platforms? Yeah, there's nothing to prevent. So WBTC, once it's actually minted into the ecosystem. So right now we pop over to the dashboard. There's 72 WBTC that are minted, and the interesting thing about WBTC is that it's almost like a side chain. It's almost like a tokenized side chain for Bitcoin, because this 72 BTC, it's custodied by BitGo, which is one of the probably top 3 crypto custodians out there, and it's custodied by BitGo. So this 72 Bitcoin is actually out of circulation, meaning that nobody has access to that at this point in time, minus BitGo, until they release that. Somebody actually has to provide their WBTC back to BitGo to essentially be that WBTC would then be burned or just taken out of circulation. But right now there's 72 WBTC because BitGo is custodying that number at this point in time. So when that happens, once that gets into the ecosystem, whether it's ETHLend or any other decentralized lending platforms on Ethereum, whatever it might be, they can go do as they will. They can build smart contracts with it. They could utilize it however they'd like. So taking a look, have you met any XRP people? Like Ripple or XRP? I've actually met a couple of Ripple employees and had some meetings with them, and they're very nice people. Very smart people, good people. So I've had some meetings with Ripple employees, and they're good dudes. They're good people. No complaints whatsoever. As far as XRP people, XRP Army on Twitter, yeah, I'm not me and XRP Army don't get along on Twitter. I've been voted as a top 10 XRP fudster in the past, which is a title I wear proudly on my shoulder, on my chest, wherever it might be. Hey, what's up, Blockworks Group? Shout out to Blockworks Group. They do some pretty good work with Pomp's podcast. And if you guys are, shout out to Pomp. Mute. Oh shit. Hopefully hopefully the audio came back. You guys hear me all right? What I was saying was that Pomp's podcast is really good. Now we're listening to the Nikhil and Atit episodes from CoVenture. Those are awesome guys. What? There we go. Oh, it should be fine. Audio looks good. We good. This damn USB cord, man. It always pops out. Apologies on that. If I talk like this, maybe it'll make things a little bit better. Hopefully you guys can hear me now, because then I can see that the blue light's actually on in the microphone. Can you hear me now? Good. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do this the entire time. Sound like a dream. You got shitty dreams, man. If I sound like a dream, you have really bad dreams. I apologize for your nightmares. That's rough news. Rough news. Datsy, what do you think are good day trade coins? So crypto day trading is an interesting thing. I think that there is a special class of people that have the ability to quote unquote day trade cryptocurrency. I don't know if there's any coins that are necessarily highly powerful for day trading. The one thing, and to be honest, I don't know if when you're asking this, and what your portfolio might look like in general, but when you're looking at your portfolio as a whole, there's not a lot of liquidity in the crypto markets right now. There just isn't. And if you're trading with any type of weight behind it, if you're moving any type of money, stick with the most liquid cryptocurrencies. Like, it's really incredible if you go on Binance and you look at a coin that has $300,000 in daily volume, and you want to put in a $5,000 market buy or sell, you're going to see some slippage. You are absolutely going to see some slippage on that order. and it's gonna hurt if you aren't able to if you aren't able to kind of deal with that slippage. So I mean, for that, I think Bitcoin, Ethereum, a lot of the coins that are on something like BitMEX that have a substantial amount of market makers, you don't have to be trading on BitMEX, but when you have the liquidity of something that like BitMEX allows to provide a little bit more, I think that's a positive. So just look at the liquidity, because when you're looking at day trading, and if you're just actually trading with any type of real money, the slippage can definitely eat you alive on a lot of these exchanges, because liquidity has really fallen off the board for a ton of tokens. What is Bitcoin? That's a good question, Bobby Digital. You tell me, brother. Yeah, Dustin Lewis. Feel like you need a good amount of cash in order to make a decent profit from day trading. I mean, we're also like, day trading is the most generic freaking term you can possibly come up with. Like, are you doing like daily swing trades? Are you looking to do some type of like market making, liquidity, arbitrage bots? Like, what's day trading to you? Are you just looking to make like super short-term trades? I don't know. Day trading is a super generic term that doesn't mean a whole lot in general to me personally. Do I still have my Gin Masternode? Yes, for better or for worse. I still have my Gin Masternode. Don't trade a liquid shitcoin. Simple. Most of it's wash trading. There's a ton of wash trading. I mean, you guys know that. I've talked about it. There's a ton of wash trading. Arliss Johnson, what is up? Thank you for that super chat. I appreciate that a whole lot. Yeah, thanks a ton for that. For that. Am I still holding Polyswarm NCT? At this point in time, I am not holding Polyswarm NCT. I think I removed it from my portfolio a few months ago. Really like I like the project. I've met the CEO on multiple occasions. Good people. I think they're building something cool. But a lot of utility tokens, I think, are having difficulty. And just because I like the people behind the project, and I like what the project is trying to accomplish, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be cool kind of burning money on fire. So I decided to cut some losses there, and I wouldn't necessarily hesitate to enter back into a position, but at this point in time, I do not have any NCT in my portfolio. So that's that is something there. Outside of that too, I really do appreciate that super chat, man. That's super kind of you. Helps to recover some of the losses that I had on NCT and a lot of other ones as well. And I got this little stream deck thingy, which is pretty sweet. So I can just go back and forth and back and forth, and I can even go to hey. Not back. Sorry about that, but I'm super pumped up because I got a new light, I got a new camera, and I got this stream deck thing, so I can actually stream with a little bit more effectiveness and efficiency, which is pretty cool, pretty exciting. So I'm pumped about that. I don't know if Dumb's still on, Crypto Stefan, but if he is, I would. Dumb had me on the crazy effects, man. This is Hollywood stuff, Younes. But Dumb and the guys had me on Shitcoin Talk, which is great. I love those folks. Would be happy to do like a co-stream with Dumb on Twitch or anywhere else. Dumb, or Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, don't matter. Freeman Young, what are my like long-term holds? I mean, my two long-term holds, really Bitcoin and Ethereum at this point in time. Those are the two that I have the most conviction in out of anything. But I'm still not like married to them forever as well. But I do, yeah, Bitcoin is my largest position. I do think Ethereum, I'm an Ethereum kind of a little bit, I'm not an Ethereum shill, but just being involved in the Ethereum ecosystem, working at AirSwap, and also having a chance to use things like compound finance and MakerDAO, MakerDAO CDPs, a lot of other things like that. Like once you use something like MakerDAO, MakerDAO CDP, and you print some DAI, like, I mean, just for example, so for the hell of it, we'll just go to do it. I want to put up I'll put up 0.4, so I don't put up all my ETH, because I'm going to need something to pay for. I'm going to need something to essentially pay for my gas price. But if I want to just collateralize this, generate 20 DAI, read the terms of service, yada yada yada. Waiting for the transaction signature. Bingo bango. Where is it? Here we are. Confirm. We'll pay the gas fee. And this should pop up shortly, which will be cool. And it will literally print DAI. And like that's one of the reasons for me that I think, like, there really is some pretty incredible things that can happen with Ethereum and with smart contracts in general. Maybe it's not Ethereum in the long run. Maybe Ethereum is too disorganized, and the Cardano or I don't know, a million other of these kind of smart contract decentralized computing platforms come up and beat Ethereum. If that happens, I wouldn't necessarily doubt it. I don't think it's 100% chance that ETH is going to win, but I think for the time being, Ethereum has a huge head start and advantage with a lot of just intellectual capital developing on the platform. Should probably adjust the gas price to be a little bit higher, but yeah. Here we are. So here we go. That's simple. What do we got? So now I have, there we are. So my 0.4 ETH is now, my 0.4 ETH, I deposited 0.399 ETH actually into my CDP. I paid I think there's a small fee that I paid, the 0.5% stability fee. I paid the stability fee, and then I just generated 20 DAI into a CDP. So I now can do whatever I want with that 20 DAI, and then the other 0.4 ETH is in that CDP until I either get liquidated or pay that DAI back plus the plus the fee. So pretty cool. I can pay that back. I can pay that DAI back anytime I want. I could also generate more DAI if I want to, but I mean, I honestly, like, this type of stuff, to me, that's literally like, that's $20 that was just generated like that. Pretty damn cool. I'll make a full video on that to go through the pros and cons, the good, the bad, the alternatives, yada, yada, yada. But like that type of stuff, I think is pretty freaking cool when it comes to Ethereum. That makes me excited. 20 DAI is worth $20. So DAI typically trades at $1. If you get a coin market cap, probably trading between $1 and $1.02, usually depends. Yeah, so it's trades between about 98 cents and $1.02. Opicast, can you take a look at the chart of BitConnect and talk about the nostalgic days? BitConnect's not, what do we got? You guys want something fun? Let's go back to historical snapshot. January 14th. Where is it? Did they just remove it from the entire history? Oh, there we are. January 14th of 2018. Actually, no, it was that was not the best time to do it. So here, I'll do this one. That's after they went bankrupt. It was still worth a couple $1 billion then. What do we got? Give it to me. Come on, CoinMarketCap, you slow son of a bitch. Look how many multi-billion-dollar cryptocurrencies there were. Verge was worth $2.6 billion. Verge. BitConnect was worth $2.3 billion, and it was at $376. $376. Currently, BitConnect is worth 67 cents. Some might call that a slight dip. Some might call that a slight drop. I would call that a brief correction. I think that if you hodl on to BitConnect, you're going to be fine. Trayvon once told me that, if you sell, you're admitting defeat, and that if you stake your BitConnect in the BitConnect GUI wallet, you're getting mad returns. And there is more Bitcoin. There's more BitConnect. Or there's only 10. Actually, there's only 10 million BitConnect, and there's a huge worldwide community of users. So it's actually going to be more valuable than Bitcoin in the future. And because of that, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. So to remember BitConnect.
Hey hey hey. Hey hey hey.
Nope. No. What's the actual? I'm too dumb for this, but hey, we'll pull it up. Let's see what we got. 10. No, that wasn't right, was it? No. There's no way it's still worth. That's also another reason why market cap in crypto is so dumb. The total supply is, I don't think it's traded on any exchange anymore, is it? Nope. There are no active markets for BitConnect. I guess the last price was 67 cents, but it's dead. It's done. Actually, let's look. Maybe the Bitcoin. Oof. Hey. Look at this, man. Who said BitConnect is dead? Have you seen the Block Explorer? Have you seen the Block Explorer? I have. I should probably go to the actual thing. Here's the screen care. BitConnect isn't dead. If you look at the Blockchain Explorer, it is alive, it's kicking, and it's crushing it. And when you consider the market capitalization, right now the market capitalization is a steal at about $7.3 million. It's not liquid at all, but hey, it's still alive, it's kicking, it's well, and the BitConnect ICO is going to come back and make moves, folks. Make moves. Hot in the dark markets, yo. Oh, God, I love the world. What's up, Ben Zemla? Sorry I missed that super chat, but we would gladly initiate you into the XRP army, Bobby. You have to pledge your allegiance to Joel Katz. I don't know if I could pledge my allegiance to XRP army ever. I think that might be... I might need to go take a shower right now thinking about having to pledge my allegiance to XRP army. Just joining the XRP community would be the honor of a lifetime. Be the honor of a lifetime. Yeah, you can send me BitConnect anytime. Anytime. I have a wonderful wallet address. I actually don't, but so you're going to be in NYC for Blockchain Week, and then Freeman Young, what conferences are you going to? Are you looking forward to? I think there's only a few conferences really that are worth necessarily going to in crypto at this point in time. So I'll be doing, there's Crypto Stefan. I'll be at the Fluidity Summit. That's one that Fluidity, Airswap's parent company, puts on. It was awesome last year. It was a one-day conference. It's really good, and it's super affordable in comparison to. It's very affordable. I think the tickets are going to be less than $300 this year, if I'm correct. So very affordable. Consensus is one that. Where is it? Register now. Like, the tickets at Consensus are pretty freaking expensive. The early adopter full conference pass is $1,300. Granted, it's a 3-day conference, 13th through the 15th. But Consensus, I wouldn't necessarily recommend, to be honest, I wouldn't necessarily recommend going to Consensus. I think that you can stream all the content live. a lot of times with something like Consensus and Blockchain Week, like I think some of the smaller events, like there's some smaller events, like Fluidity is a smaller event and things like that, that are pretty good. But I like to, what I think is cool is going to some of the smaller events. And then if you just go to, if you have some friends or some people that are in the industry, and some like connections or anything like that, you can go to, what you can essentially do is you can go to the, a lot of like, there's like these little after parties and there's a lot of meetups and happy hours and things like that. And that way you save yourself the $1,300 and you go to the actual things that are fun, like not sitting in the conference, but meeting people afterwards, having a beer with them, or if you don't drink, having a, I don't give a shit, a Diet Coke, whatever. That's kind of, I think, what a lot of people like to do. There's a lot of people that like went to Consensus last year and like, wow, I didn't actually go to anything but the happy hours, and I paid $1,300 for it. Now, alternatively, too, you can stream a lot of these conferences. At least Consensus, you can stream Consensus for free. So you can always stream it for free, hang out in a hotel, hang out and meet with a bunch of people and do that. So that's kind of what I recommend in a lot of cases. Hey, look at this. Anybody who went short when I went live is down $15. Apparently, I forgot to crash the market. Crazy, right? Thanks again, Ben. Appreciate it, man. So I haven't gotten a chance, Bart, to listen to the What Bitcoin Did interview with Peter Todd, where he mentioned that Bitcoin inflation might make sense past 21 million. So I have not listened to that. I would think that that would be very, 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 very hotly debated amongst people, because in many ways, I think Bitcoin has two huge advantages over basically everything else. Number one, Bitcoin had one of the fairest launches in cryptocurrency, if not the fairest launch ever, because nobody thought Bitcoin would be valuable. So there weren't, like with Grin, you didn't have all these big VC miners behind it. There weren't pre-sale investors. There wasn't a team allocation. There wasn't a whatever. There was no indication that this stuff was actually going to be valuable. So it was a pretty fair launch. In addition to that is you have the sound monetary policy of Bitcoin. The monetary policy of Bitcoin has never changed in its existence, and that's one of the big reasons that I think a lot of people in like a lot of quote unquote Bitcoin maximalists, not only there's a lot of reasons that they don't like Ethereum and they shit on Ethereum, and it could be due to under delivering and many things across the board. But Ethereum is also not a very steady monetary policy, and the monetary policy is defined by some of the lead developers and may have undue influence by the Vitaliks and the consensuses and the larger investors in it and things like that. Whereas Bitcoin's monetary policy has never changed. So if you suggest the changing of Bitcoin's monetary policy, I think that could definitely be something that a lot of people might not take too kindly to, and I do think that would be very, very hotly contested. Do you make any purchases using crypto? Yes, I've made purchases using crypto in the past. I definitely have, and I don't think so. I like making purchases in crypto when the market goes up. So I haven't really made a ton of purchases in crypto when the market's been down, or at least recently. But like last year in November, I bought a new laptop with Ethereum when Ethereum was up, I don't know, a couple $100. I purchased. I use I think what's it called, Newegg, if I remember correctly. Like Newegg takes what we got here? Newegg takes crypto. So like if you're looking for Yeah. So if you're looking for like new PC crypto or parts or whatever, I purchased a new desktop that I'm literally streaming this to. Streaming this with is this like fancy high powered Corsair desktop that I spent too much money on, but heck, whatever, it's crypto. And it's actually cool because I basically got this laptop half off because the market's dropped 50%. But I think especially on the way up, if you're making money, like, yeah, it sucks if the market continues to go up, but the market goes up, the market goes down. Get some value. If if you make some money on it, get some value out of it. Get something you can always remember it by. Whatever. Going long on Bobby's beard. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Why not? Why the hell not, dudes and females? Newegg stopped accepting it? No. Don't tell me that. They really? Yeah, I spelled Bitcoin wrong. No, they had to have redone it. They still take it. No, I think you can still pay with it. It was through I believe it's through BitPay, which is kind of annoying if I remember correctly, but I'm pretty sure they still take it. So Younes, I will not advise you on a good way to skip taxes on a recorded YouTube live video, buddy. What's up, Satoshi Nakafomo? Long time, brother. Long time. Taking a look here. What am I drinking? So you missed it before. I have a black lager. It's a whole 5.6% alcohol. This is the first pint I've had tonight, so I'm pretty hammered. Watch out for me. I might say some crazy things in the stream. It's from Industrial Arts Brewing Company in Garnerville, New York, and again, it's a black lager. I've been a big fan of those in the winter. They're great. Big fan of black lagers. Crypto Stefan, thoughts on the Block article about the Grin lead being pissed because people aren't donating to pay the lead dev? This is an interesting point because so I'll pop over to the Block. Let's see if it's a recent one. So the lead dev of Grin is not happy with I guess there's a campaign by or for developer funding. I think Yeast Plume is the lead dev for Grin, and he's trying to give full-time attention to Grin. Grin, as a lot of you guys might know, is a Mimble-Wimble, so I'll pull this up right now. Grin is a Mimble-Wimble cryptocurrency. Here's the article from the Block. Here's the kind of announcement. Solved early disappointments. I don't know if that's solved yet, but there's a hot debate around Grin, and Grin was created as a fair launch cryptocurrency. That's one of the big reasons that I think it got a lot of people are very much fans of, I think, the Mimble-Wimble technology, but Grin, there is no developer reward like there is in Zcash. There is no pre-mine, there was no nothing. So basically this dude Yeast Plume, who is the lead dev, was pretty much doing this, creating Grin and developing Grin on his own time, on his own dime, without a salary or anything like that. And he asked for donations and basically got none. So I guess so far right now they've raised about 22,000 euro. He's trying to raise around 55,000 euro, but a lot of people are trying to help him, or we're just mad that this dude who's kind of developing this network that has a super high value, and you have a lot of there's rumored, and now there's some debate around it, but $100 million of money from venture capitalists went into mining Grin, or is currently mining Grin. So these venture capitalists, put $100 million, or maybe it's 50, whatever. But tens of millions of dollars went into mining Grin to make money, and there was, at the time, I think $10,000 essentially paid to this guy to actually help him be a developer full time. So it goes to show the interesting dynamic in the incentive structure between somebody mining or somebody doing this fair launch versus actually having the financial incentives in place for like people to be developing the platform. Because it's great that this is a fair launch, and it's great that this is something that it's great that this is something that you don't have to worry about certain incentives around it as far as people promoting it nefariously. But can this guy actually afford to live and kind of pay a salary dependent upon how this is structured? So I think the Grin is really interesting to watch, because it's kind of trying to do what Bitcoin did 10 years later, while you have all these kind of people that know that this is going to be valuable also mining the technology at this point in time. So that's pretty cool. CKJ Crypto News, thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Much love. I'm 100% not an OG, but I appreciate the super chat. Super good to have you here. And yeah, dude, hit me up, Rob at CryptoBobby.com, and we can see if I can get on your channel if you got a YouTube channel or something like that, brother. Guys, at this point in time, my beer is basically empty. It's Friday night, and I'm gonna eat dinner, maybe drink a few more of these beers. Have a good night. We'll see what happens. But I hope you guys have a fantastic day, night, wherever you're watching, listening in from. Fantastic to have you. If you are on YouTube, I appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button. It helps get this video out to as many people as possible. Shout out to all you folks that are on both Periscope and Twitch as well. If you're on Twitch, hit me with a subscribe. That'd be awesome. If you're on Periscope, what's going on to you folks as well from Twitter? I really do appreciate it. Hope you all have a good one. Take it easy. Peace.